Question is from the audience. Do you support a Maryland law to reverse Weiss Schaefer and shift the burden of proof from special ed parents to MCPS?
Can you repeat that?
Do you support a Maryland law to reverse Weiss Schaefer and shift the burden of proof from special ed parents to MCPS?
You know, I'm a special ed parent, and I would like to see a lot of those regulations just go away. In lieu of more regulations to force compliance, I would like to see, again, an approach to education in MCPS where we work with each student's strengths, meet their challenges, include them in the community, let them know that they're valued. These are educational approaches that can work, that do work, that are at work in many other school districts. There's no reason MCPS can't do this.
Excuse me, can you repeat that?
Do you support a Maryland law to reverse Weiss versus Schaefer and shift the burden of proof from special education parents to MCPS?
So, as I was saying, as a special ed parent, I'm extremely frustrated, and you can imagine the burden of proof that falls to parents who are trying to get a free, appropriate public education for their children. It winds up costing them enormous time. They have to get themselves a PhD in law to figure this stuff out. They have to spend time above and beyond their jobs to teach the school system about their children and how to teach their children. I do support it because I have spent so many years across the table saying, why am I telling you this? You should be telling me this. Yes, the schools need to take that responsibility. They have to shoulder the burden for providing a free, appropriate public education for every child that meets their needs. So I do support it. But again, I don't think that the best way to achieve that is by lots and lots more legislation and lots more compliance battles. I think that the schools can and should step up to its responsibility by providing a better regular education all around and having better oversight of the funds through a cost analysis of educational programs so that we are making sure we conserve the funds for those marginal student needs that will exist. There's no flattening the learning curve here. Special education is special for a reason, and it always will be, and we have to address that. And it does take more resource. It takes more mediation for that student to learn. So we have to recognize that, and we have to commit the funds to that. The same thing for students who are advanced learners and need to move faster. They need more also. We need to dedicate the funds for that as well. So I do support it, but I would like to see MCPS address education and learning better all around. Well, we obviously do need to plan. We've seen phenomenal growth, and we're hopefully going to continue to see that, and that is a good thing. But the boundaries matter because the grass is greener on the other side, and because you buy your house where it's greener. As it's been pointed out before. When we moved here, I checked out the schools first within Montgomery County. Lots of people were telling me, oh, all the schools are fine, all the schools are fine, but there's obviously differences, and I could tell them even as an outsider, and without having 20 years residency here. It matters. So what we need to talk about is ensuring the delivery of quality at every school, so that people don't feel they have to pick up and move. And a lot of people with special needs, with gifted kids, with special education kids, who want that English, that other language immersion, are moving so that they can get that. That shouldn't have to happen. We should be delivering quality at each and every school, and that quality means that the students are learning and understanding, not hitting scores on achievement tests. Well, that, as a newcomer to the county, the whole idea of clusters and the whole structure of governance here is something new, and I've had to immerse myself in that. And obviously, the county dictates to the schools how much funding they're going to get. We can ask for how much we want, but the county is going to come back and say, well, this is how much you get. And it becomes a tug of war because the county wants us to prove that we need it. And we're saying, well, of course we need it because we're doing maintenance of effort, and we've always done it. But what are we, and all the people in the county are saying, what are we getting for that money? And we can't tell them. So that's the real problem. And I think that the way to address that is to do cost analysis of education. It's something that's been done for special education programming since the 1990s. It's led to great improvements and better decision making in funding education programs. It lets you know what works and what doesn't work. And it can, Columbia University Teachers College has recently opened just this year a new center for cost benefit of education studies. So I'm proposing that the Board of Education add that to the toolkit so that as a community we can say where the money's going, we can follow the money, and we can say what benefit the students are deriving from that expenditure. We can then better go back to the county and say, our students are benefiting from what is happening here, but we need more money for this, that, or the other program, and that is an effective program, and there will be less arguing over it. It will be a more objective-based decision. Yes, I want to thank you all for coming and to address transparency again first. Improving our schools is going to require us coming together as a community. That can't be done without transparency. As an experienced analyst and advocate, I have always looked very closely to examine the hard evidence, to let the data speak, to compare current performance against best standards, and to always ensure that every decision serves the student rather than the system. That data is necessary to me. It will be on the table to you. We have to make these decisions together. We have to fit programs to students. We have to provide choice within communities for how our kids are educated. There's a great dissatisfaction and plenty of evidence to tell us that teaching to the test, that stressing tougher standards, is not educating our children. They are not becoming critical thinkers. They are not enjoying their learning. We've taken away their love of learning. We have to put the focus back on that. When we trust the learners and trust the process, the scores will come. Dr. Starr has said it, I have lived it, and I want that to happen in MCPS. Because we can and we must do more with less, I'm proposing a cost-benefit model to help us make better decisions so that we can make sure that the money is going to serve students the best that it can. And this community, I've discovered quickly, is blessed with an incredible wealth of articulate, passionate advocates. When we decide to work together as a community, committed to the cause of our students, we can achieve our goal of improving education. And we need to do that by consolidating all the myriad initiatives, by coming up with a common vision, and by giving every child their wish, their natural wish to learn. So I thank you again.